Here we are inside. Wait a minute. What is this room even called?
This is the brew house.
The brew house at Big Blue Brewing in Cape Coral. And I tell you what, we're standing here with Alex, who is the head brewer. I understand that the whole story of you getting into this industry at all has to do something about a misspent youth.
Yeah, you know, when you turn 18, you can get a debit card. You can't go out to a liquor store and buy a beer, but you can buy everything to make it. Shh, don't tell Mom.
That's how you become a brewmaster,
That's
I
how
guess.
you become a brewer, yeah, exactly.
So, now, what are you drinking here right now?
This is called the lightest thing we got, or the lightest thing you got.
All right.
What?
So, yeah, exactly. So you have somebody who's coming into the bar for the first time to Big Blue, and they're trying to get into craft beer, and they're usually a Miller Lite drinker or a Coors Light drinker. So they sit down, and the bartender comes up and says, "What can I get you?" "Oh, what's the lightest thing you got?" And this is it right here.
The lightest thing.
So it's basically an American light lager, but it's not a lager, it's an ale. It's a cold fermented ale. It's low ester production, essentially, so there's not a lot of fruitiness from the yeast, and actually the yeast eating the sugars. Very clean, very light, easy drinking, around a 4%. So it's a perfect introductory beer for someone who's looking to get into craft beer.
Okay, so if you're trying to get into craft beer, let me ask a really, really basic question. How long does it take from pile of ingredients to glass of beer?
Brew day usually is about 6 to 8 hours. In the fermenter, really depends on the beer. This beer is going to take about 7 to 10 days total fermentation time, including a diacetyl rest, which is cleaning the beer up and getting any off flavors out of it, and also crashing, which is cooling the beer down to prepare for transfer over into the bright tank, which is the conditioning vessel.
Now, can you serve a beer in a frosted glass? You leave the glass in the freezer for a while?
You really don't want to. The thing with the frosted glass is any contaminants on the inside of the freezer, you don't want to have on the inside of the glass. As soon as you pour the beer, there's dirt on the inside of the glass, it's going to foam up. It's going to have nucleation points, essentially. So it's dirt on the inside of the glass or microscopic chips on the inside of the glass that is going to not allow the carbonation to be released in the manner where the brewer intended it to be.
And what's the difference between a lager and an ale?
A lager is a bottom fermenting yeast strain, and an ale is a top fermenting yeast strain. So essentially, when you put the yeast into the fermenter with the wort, ale is going to start at the top and slowly travel down. Lager is going to start at the bottom and slowly travel up. Ales ferment at temperatures around 60 to 70, 72. Lagers are in the 50 to 60 degree range. Essentially, lager yeast is a more delicate yeast. It doesn't want to work as hard, so when you put the yeast into the fermenter, you're doing about double the amount that you would for an ale. Essentially, the yeast needs friends to help eat the sugar. The more friends you have to do the work, the less you sweat, the cleaner the beer.
I got sugar. I'm not inviting friends to eat it. All right, let me ask you this then, because you started, brewing on your own when you were 18. Is home brewing an expensive hobby?
It can be. You can start very basic and have a small basic system, or what you can do is you can go crazy. There's systems out there called Brew Magic, where you can buy an entire skid setup for home, 5, 10, 15 gallons, for about $7,000 to $10,000. So you can go crazy. I have friends, especially back home in Bend, Oregon, where there's a huge beer following, that guys have dedicated their entire 2- and 3-car garage to home brewing.
So how many different types of beer would you brew here?
Here right now on tap we have 4. We have 24 taps total, but we would like to have 12 of our beers on tap all the time. All right. We're going to go through the entire list as best as we possibly can.
Can we sample that entire list?
Definitely today. Good. Yes, definitely.
Good.
Wow. Okay. That's all we need is Norm needing to get bail money again.
I'm the only one drinking a beer.
Yeah. The unsung hero of the beer world. What is it?
The unsung hero of the beer.
If I'm going to try something that's out of my comfort zone.
As far as style?
Yeah.
My favorite one going around right now is a Goza. So it's from an area of Germany which the water passes through essentially salt in the rock, in the ground. So the beer that you end up with is a salty beer. One of the ones that we did at my previous brewery in Oregon was called Spa Day. It was a cucumber lemon Goza. So what we did is we soured it with a little bit of yogurt, added some sea salt during the boil. We put it into the fermenter, did a double pitch of yeast essentially, so instead of 15 pounds in a 10-barrel batch, we did 30 because it's a very acidic environment. And then we took it out of the fermenter, put it into a bright tank, cleaned it up, and then added an entire bag of squeezed lemons and a little bit of cucumber extract. So imagine alcoholic, salty cucumber water.
Wow.
The perfect beach beer. The perfect beer for a hot day. Leaves you
sounds
coming
very
back for more. It was good.
I like it.
I'd love to chat longer, but I'm getting very thirsty.
Yeah,
Yes.
go figure.
Yeah, a nice cold frost. No, I can't get a frosted glass.
You can't do the frosting mug.
Nice
no.
cold beer would probably go good right about now.
It would, definitely, yeah.
All right, let's do that. Let's go.